And then they dropped tens of thousands of these mailers on Orange County residents last week. This is just really classic sort of 1950s style disparaging surfers, causing hatred for people that love the beach. And, you know, I don't know that we should rush off and tell TCA, but Santa Onofre is a state park. It's a public beach. Their effort to portray Santa Onofre as a private beach is just insane. It's just completely incompetent. It's consistent with the way they've acted over many years now. Here's their time-honored strategy of abusing their opponents when they have no facts or science or any law on their side. This just came out 2 days ago. This was the federal government acknowledging that they were actually canceling the hearing for tomorrow. So I think our letters to them, you know, demanding that they publish notice of these hearings and give the 30 days notice, actually resulted in this thing. And at least the hearing tomorrow is now formally canceled. So you can take that off your calendar. Go back.
Oh, sorry.
It raises other questions, though, and I put these two little bullets in there. Does this mean that there will still be a public hearing? Well, it depends on how you read these things. In the Federal Register, the federal government is continuing to take the position that we're having a public hearing, that they're going to do everything they can to find a venue that's both large enough and that they can afford. The Secretary of Commerce has no money, right? And that they want to have the public hearing, but remember, they claim this broad discretion to do whatever they want if and when they ever decide it. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the public hearing is guaranteed. It just means that as of 8 o'clock tonight, we think they're still going to have a public hearing. Does this mean that the federal government will provide 30 days advance notice? I don't know. But don't be surprised if it comes out tomorrow that they've scheduled the Anaheim Convention Center and for the 25th of August. That would give them the 30 days that they need and would continue to try to rush this hearing this summer before Labor Day, which doesn't make any sense. And I guess the operative thing here is at every turn when we've rushed to try to facilitate a quick hearing on this, we've made all kinds of mistakes. So if I were counseling them, I would tell them to go slow and do it correctly. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out tomorrow that we're going to have a meeting. This is our letter from today asking that the federal government not schedule the hearing at the Anaheim Convention Center for the obvious reason that it's so far away from Santa Onofre, the area that's going to be destroyed by the freeway. I wanted to include at least a little information on what the heck this whole process is about. TCA, like I said earlier, has the ability, the legal right to appeal the state of California's denial of their project. So the federal government is going to use this legal standard of review as they try to sift through all of this information that has been submitted to them and all of the information that's going to come as a result of the public hearing. And as you can see here, the Secretary has the ability to override a state's objection if the proposed activity is either consistent with the objectives of the Coastal Zone Management Act, if the project's consistent with the objectives of the CZMA are those where A, the project furthers the national interest in the CZMA objectives in a significant and substantial manner. California Coastal Management Program, which is certified by Congress under the CZMA, is all about protecting natural coastal resources and avoiding harm to coastal resources and wildlife wherever possible. So clearly, they can't comply with that. B, this national interest outweighs any adverse coastal effects both separately and cumulatively. And C, there is no reasonable alternative available that would allow the activity to proceed consistent with the state program. Well, we already know that alternatives are available that wouldn't go through the state park, wouldn't extinct all of these endangered species, and we also know from TCA's own studies that if they just fix I-5, they won't need a toll road. So they're going to have a real tough time. But there's this little qualifier at the bottom, or necessary in the interest of national security. So if I were TCA, I would try to focus in on those 7 words. It looks a whole lot easier than trying to tackle anything substantive. Regardless of this, and this is the point that I want to convey tonight, we can do this public hearing tomorrow, next week, next month, a year from now, in Anaheim, in San Diego, or in Timbuktu. My view of this is any place, any time. Let's have this hearing. If TCA, by some miracle, convinces the federal government to try to override the state of California, what's really important is the bottom line here. California can sue the federal government, and we'll get an independent federal review of that process. So, you know, in the end, I'm as excited today as I was 10 years ago when the first federal government hearings on this project came to this area, and 1,000 of us showed up and said, don't build this freeway and not at this location. I'm as excited today as I ever have been, and I really hope that you guys will stick with us in this process and continue to work with TCA to try to show them the light.
Yeah.